Hello everyone. Today I will tell you about the movie Where the Crawdads Sing. A guy fell in love with a girl who was born in a swamp. All the people thought that she was a monster, but they themselves turned out to be the monster.
You're mine, Kai. You belong to me. I'm not letting you go this time.
1969. Two boys are riding their bikes in the forest and find the body of a man. Two police officers arrive at the scene and begin examining the area. They climb the fire tower and see an open hatch. The sheriff thinks that the man accidentally fell into an open hatch, but the second police officer suggests that someone may have pushed the man. After a medical examination, it turned out that the man died from a strong blow to the back of the head, but he could have hit his head during the fall. The sheriff thinks it was an accident, but the second cop reports that no fingerprints were found on the fire tower. In addition, threads from red clothing were found on the jacket, but the deceased never had such clothes. The sheriff decides to start an investigation. In the evening, two police officers come to a local bar. The townspeople spend the whole day discussing the tragedy that happened. All people think that the woman living in the swamp killed him.
Could have been that woman lives out in the marsh. She's crazy enough for the loony bin. I just bet she'd be up to something like this.
And only the old lawyer does not believe this. The next day, the police arrive by boat to a house built in a swamp. They knock on the door, but no one opens. The officer notices the red hat and goes inside. Now they are sure that the marsh girl is guilty of the man's death. They notice a girl on the street and start chasing her. She tries to escape by boat, but is caught and taken to the police station. The girl's name is Kaya, and from this day, her life will change a lot. Kaya sits in solitary confinement and yearns for nature. A cat comes to her, and Kaya becomes a little happier. Lawyer Milton comes to the girl. He tells the girl that there will be a trial soon, and he wants to be her lawyer and help her. He is sure that the girl did not kill anyone. He asks the girl to tell everything about her life. 1953. Little Kaya lives with her family in a house in a swamp. The little girl loves her brothers and sisters. During the day, she plays with them, and in the evening, her mother reads her a fairy tale. But one day, everything changed. Kaya's father drank a lot of alcohol and decided to punish his older sister. He grabs his daughter by the hair and tells her to go into the house. A boy named Tate pushes a man to protect a girl. This boy is Joe's friend. The man drives the boy away and says that if he sees him here again, he will shoot him. Kaya's mother tries to stop her husband, but he hits her in the face. At night, Kaya hears scary sounds. Her father beats her mother again. Early in the morning, a woman packs her things and leaves the house. A few months later, Kaya's older brother leaves home. Then her sisters leave. And then the day came when Joe decided to leave home. The boy says goodbye to his sister.
If you're in trouble, run and hide deep in the marsh way out where the crawdads sing.
He hugs Kaya and leaves forever. Only the little girl and her father remained living in the house. The man becomes like the walking dead. Alcohol became his food. One day, the girl sails away on a boat. She really likes wildlife and its inhabitants, but the girl got lost and doesn't know how to get home. She meets Tate by chance. The boy helps the girl return home. Thanks to Tate, Kaya gains courage and approaches her father. She brings him water and says that she is hungry. The man comes to his senses and comes to the nearest store to buy food. He asks to sell him corn and refuel the boat. This store has two owners, Jumpin and his wife Mabel. The woman asks the girl if everything is okay with her and asks where her mother is. Kaya says that her mother works at home. The woman realizes that the girl is lying. Mabel secretly puts a lollipop in the girl's bag to make her a little happy. The next day, Kaya decides to go to school. She comes to the city for the first time in her life and does not know where to go. Other children on the street tease her and avoid her, and only lawyer Milton stops and shows the girl the way to school. Kaya comes into class, but she doesn't even know how to read. The children laugh at her and give her the nickname Marsh Girl.
Where you been, Marsh Hen? Where's your hat, swamp rat?
Kaya runs back to the swamp.
That was the only day I ever spent in school.
Soon, Kaya's father stopped drinking alcohol. He began to take care of his daughter and take her fishing with him. He tried his best to improve his relationship with his daughter and even gave her a gift. While fishing, he noticed that the girl had found a hobby. She began collecting feathers from different birds and studying them. He gives her a bag so she can put the feathers she finds in it. But suddenly, a letter arrives from Kaya's mother. But her father immediately takes the letter. He reads it and gets very angry.
No!
Quiet.
Ah!
At night, Kaya's father burned all his wife's things. He soon left home and never returned. Kaya was left to live alone. The first night, the girl could not sleep in the house. The silence was unbearable, but outside there was activity at night. A few days later, there was no food in the house, but Kaya was a smart girl. She went to collect mussels to sell. The girl collected a whole bag of mussels and brought them to the store. Jumpin paid the girl and fueled the boat for free. He allowed the girl to sell him mussels once a week. The first court hearing will take place soon. Kaya receives a package from Miss Mabel. The day of judgment arrives. The parents of the deceased guy ask the judge to punish the girl and give her the death penalty. Lawyer Milton addresses the jury and says that there is not a single piece of evidence that Kaya killed the guy. He says that she is being judged because she has been an outcast in this city all her life. After the trial, Milton tells the girl that the judge is biased against her and may find her guilty, but she can confess to murder and serve only 6 years in prison. But Kaya does not agree. She says that she will never admit guilt. 1962, Kaya still lives in the house in the swamp. She loves the place and the wildlife. Kaya collects bird feathers for her collection. One day, a girl notices a guy. She hides so that he doesn't see her. It was Tate. He leaves a note for Kaya in which he suggested meeting. The next day, Kaya finds Tate and gives him the note. The girl says she can't read. Tate gives another bird feather. He says that his mother also loves birds. He offers Kaya his seeds and fishing gear. Kaya agrees. Tate also offers to help her learn to read and write. From that day on, Tate and Kaya spent every day together. They became very close friends, and Kaya finally stopped feeling lonely. The girl very quickly learned to read and write. One day, Kaya invited Tate to her home. The guy was very surprised at how creative, smart, and unusual a girl Kaya is. Tate falls in love with Kaya, but he understands that they cannot be together. Tate must go to another city to study. Tate visits Kaya again, but she leads him into the woods because the child welfare authorities are looking for her. Jumpin warned the girl that the city authorities wanted to take her to a boarding school. Tate says maybe it's not so bad, but Kaya does not want to leave the swamp. She asks Tate about his mom. He says that his mother and sister were on their way to buy a gift for his birthday and died in a car accident. Kaya says that Tate is not to blame and hugs him. Kaya and Tate kiss. A few days later, Tate brings a cake and wishes Kaya a happy birthday. For Kaya, this is the best day of her life. But Tate stops. He says that he cannot do this because Kaya is too dear to him. A few months later, Tate goes to college. He tells Kaya that he will soon leave and become a biologist. He promises to return in a week to visit her. Tate invites Kaya to come with him, so they can live in the city like a real family. But Kaya says that she doesn't want to live in the city. She thinks that people will never accept her, and she doesn't want to leave her swamp. She thinks that Tate is deceiving her, and he will never return. The day comes when Tate must leave. He gives Kaya a list of book publishers and asks the girl to start writing books. She must use her knowledge to earn her living. They say goodbye to each other, and Tate leaves. Kaya begins to live an ordinary life and wait for the day when Tate returns. This day comes, and Kaya puts on a beautiful dress. The girl goes to the shore and waits all day for her beloved Tate, but he didn't come. Kaya realizes that Tate deceived her, and she was again left alone with nature. During the trial, Milton's lawyer asks the sheriff a question. How often are hatches open on fire towers? The sheriff says the hatches are almost always open, and accidents happen very often. Recently, the sheriff personally demanded that the city authorities deal with this problem. 1968, Kaya notices a man with a camera near her house. She comes to the store and asks Jumpin and Mabel what's going on. They say that the city authorities want to build a hotel in the swamp. If Kaya doesn't pay off her house debt, she can be evicted. At the exit of the store, a guy named Chase helps a girl carry her bags. He asks her out on a date. Kaya comes home and starts writing her first book to earn money. The next day, Kaya comes to a picnic. Chase kisses the girl, but she pushes him away.
I know you think
think I'm trash, but I'm worth more than a picnic.
Kaya, come on. I'm sorry. No.
Chase asks for forgiveness and takes Kaya to the fire tower. He shows the girl very beautiful views and then escorts her home. He goes inside, but Kaya didn't invite him. He tells her that he really likes her and asks her to give him another chance. Kaya didn't know how she felt about Chase, but she wasn't alone anymore, and that was enough for her. Kaya is not sure that people will want to read her book, but Chase supported Kaya in her hobbies. One day, Kaya came to town and saw Chase. He was with his friends and was having fun, but Kay Chase said that he had no real friends. A few months later, Kaya finished writing her book and sent it to the publisher. Soon, Kaya received a letter. Her book has been accepted and will soon begin publication. Chase also got a good job, and the couple seems happy together. In the evening, Chase says that when they get married, they will live in the city and they won't have to hide from people. But Kaya is still afraid of the townspeople. Chase brings Kaya to the motel and puts her on the bed. Everything lasts a few minutes. Kaya couldn't feel love, but she gives Chase the necklace anyway. During the trial, Chase's mother says that a necklace that he never took off was not found on his body. She blames Kaya and says that this is proof of her guilt. But lawyer Milton says that Kaya's house was searched and the necklace was not there. In 1969, Tate returned to the city. He finds out that Kaya now has a new boyfriend.
What's that Marsh girl like in bed, man? Was she an animal?
Why was the Bobcat worth every bit of the gas money?
Hey, don't talk about her like that.
Tate comes to Kaya's house, but the girl asks him to leave and says that she doesn't want to see him. Tate apologizes to the girl. He says he made a big mistake.
You know, I thought I had to choose between you and everything else. But the truth is, scholarships, the grants, the jobs, it means nothing without you.
Tate says that he has returned forever and now works in the laboratory. He hopes that Kaya will be able to forgive him someday, but Kaya can't do it. A few days later, Kaya comes into town to buy food. She meets Chase and suggests they celebrate the release of her book, but Chase's friends approach him. He introduces them to Kaya.
Pleased to meet you, Kaya. I'm Chase's fiance.
Kaya returns home and does not understand why her close people always betray her. Chase comes to Kaya to explain everything, but the girl hides. Kaya decides that she is destined to be alone. She receives a check for $5,000 from the sales of her book, and one day, Joe comes home. He accidentally saw her book on the counter and decided to visit her. Joe is in the military and has a family. He says that their mother died a long time ago, but she wanted to return. He knows nothing about their sisters. Joe says that he will visit her. Kaya comes to Jumpin and asks him to give the book to Tate. At that moment, Chase comes into the store. He notices a girl and wants to talk to her. He explains that he doesn't love that girl. He wants to be with Kaya, but Kaya asks him not to come to her. Chase punches Kaya in the face. He pushes the girl and pins her to the ground. He starts to take off her clothes, but Kaya hits him on the head with a stone. Kaya threatens him and says that if he touches her again, she will kill him. A local fisherman heard all this and talks about it in court. Tate comes to Kaya's house and sees bruises on her face. He knows it was Chase, but Kaya asks not to help her. Tate promises her that he won't go to Chase and tells her to go to the conference she's been invited to. This is her chance to prove that everyone in the city was wrong about her. Kaya comes to the store and says that she will soon go to a conference in another city. Jumpin notices the bruises. He knows it was Chase. He says that he will go to the police and tell everything. But Kaya asks him not to do this because the police will not help her. Jumpin is very upset because he is worried about Kaya. Kaya became very close to him. He asks her to always tell him where she is and if she is okay. The last day of the trial is approaching. All Kaya's close people come into the courtroom. They love her and want to support her. The court is questioning another witness. The woman says she saw Kaya get on the bus and leave the city on the day of the murder. But the prosecutor says the girl could have returned on an overnight flight, killed Chase, and returned to the conference by morning. Attorney Milton stands and addresses the jury. He asks them to think about the facts. Kaya has an alibi. The girl would not have had time to commit the crime in 1 hour and return to another city. He says it's simply impossible. He encourages jurors to think about why the girl is being tried. He says that she is not being tried because of murder, but because she is an outcast. All her life, the residents of this city offended and insulted her. Milton asks them to judge her objectively and stop considering the girl a monster, because Kaya has already proven to everyone that she is a very smart and kind girl. The jury pauses to make its decision. After 15 minutes, the judge asks the girl to stand up. He reads out the court decision in which the girl was found not guilty.
Thank you.
Tate takes Kaya by the hand, but she leaves. The girl returns to her home and rests. A few days later, Tate comes to Kaya's house and confesses his love. She kisses him. Tate proposes marriage, and they decide to live together for the rest of their lives. Now Kaya is not alone. Joe and his family often come to them. A few years later, Jumpin dies and Kaya comes to his funeral. He was like a father to her. For many years, Kaya and Tate lived loving each other and nature, but life is not eternal, and Kaya feels that her end will soon come. She sails away on a boat and sees her mother on a boat, and then dies. Tate says goodbye to his beloved wife. He takes her book and finds the necklace. Tate realizes that Kaya killed Chase, and in the end he comes to the beach and throws out the shell.